This week on Beer vs. Beer, we're going to see which beer is the better beer stain remover. So the two beers we got this week are the Side Launch Mountain Lager and the All or Nothing Brewhouse's All or Nothing Hopfenweisse. I'm thinking Side Launch is a nice, clean, very light looking beer, so it might be better for fighting the beer stain. Although All or Nothing, it's got like a yeast strain to it, so maybe there's more of the flavor chemicals that will help remove the beer stain. Only one way to find out. So the beer I'm going to use to stain the cloth is going to be just a homebrew beer that I made myself. It's a robust porter. As you can see, it's a pretty dark beer, so it'll stain cloth pretty well. So to keep track of which beer is on what cloth, I'm going to put the All or Nothing on the cloth with a tag, and this one has no tag. It's the same cloth I just cut in half. Just making a mess. It's like you're at a bar, somebody orders a stout and they just spilled it on your white shirt. Now let's see, you have either a All or Nothing beer in your hand or a Side Launch beer in your hand. Which one do you put on the stain to remove it? So I wringed out the cloths a little bit because they were soaking wet with that robust porter, and I figured if you spill it on your shirt, it's not going to be soaking wet, you're going to pat it down a little bit. So these are now more dry, they're just stained. So I'm going to pour the beers and let it soak for about 10 minutes to see. It's All or Nothing. Will it remove all of the stain or none of the stain? That's a bad joke. Oop. Pouring a little bit of amber, so maybe it will just replace the stain with a this amber color. Let me put a little bit more in here just to make sure. Maybe the bubbles mean it's working. And now the Mountain Lager. Pouring in the stain here. Oh yeah, it's already much more clear. So maybe it'll actually remove the stain instead of replacing it with its own. Lots of beer in there. Make sure it's nice and soaked. More beer in here too. Make sure it's nice and full. Nice and full. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna wait 10 minutes and then throw these in the laundry machine. It's been about 10 minutes. It looks like actually both of the beers have just diluted down the porter and they're both brown now. Maybe they're both gonna work. I'm also gonna throw on my hat because I use it for deliveries and it's getting pretty dirty now. So I've just wrung these out and it looks like even before washing most of the stain is pretty much gone. So the laundry machine, as well as my hat. I've decided to use a little bit of laundry detergent too, because when you go home after getting a stain on your shirt, even though you've used beer, you're probably gonna also use laundry detergent. So I'm just gonna put a little bit in. It's looking pretty clean. Same with this one. My hat still looks pretty dirty though. Time to throw them in the dryer. So very surprisingly, both cloths have their stain completely removed. So to call it, it's a tie. I think just in general, beer is really good at removing beer stains.